In 2024, Vinícius Jr. wasn't just one of the best players in the world. For many, he was the best. Champions League winner, big game performer, unstoppable on his day. Everything pointed in one direction. The Ballon d'Or felt inevitable. It felt like the moment where everything he had worked for finally came together. But just 1 year later, conversation changed. The hype faded, the dominance disappeared, and suddenly the question wasn't how good Vinícius is, but what happened to him. Because this wasn't supposed to happen. Vinícius wasn't declining, he was evolving. For years, he went from being that raw winger who couldn't finish into a complete forward who could decide games on the biggest stage. Under Ancelotti, everything clicked. His confidence grew, his decision-making improved, and most importantly, his end product became deadly. The same player people once laughed at was now scoring in Champions League finals. That wasn't luck, that was development. By 2024, Vinícius had everything: goals, assists, big moments. He was Real Madrid's most dangerous player. One defenders feared, one fans trusted. When Madrid needed something, they looked to him. He was the difference. But football doesn't stay still, and Real Madrid made a decision that changed everything. Kylian Mbappé arrived. Not just another signing, not just another star, but a player who demanded the same space, the same freedom, the same importance. And suddenly, Vinícius wasn't the center of the team anymore. On paper, it should have worked. Two elite attackers, two world-class talents, two players capable of deciding games on their own. Football isn't played on paper because Vinícius thrives on freedom. He needs space, rhythm, and the ability to be the main threat. Mbappé is the same, and when two players need the same role, one of them always loses out. At first, it wasn't obvious. There were moments where it looked like it could work. Link-up plays, goals, flashes of brilliance. But it never felt natural. It never lasted. Slowly, Vinícius started fading. Not completely, but enough for people to notice. Less impact, less involvement, less control over games. Not because he lost his ability, but because he lost his role. And when a player like Vinícius doesn't feel in control, everything starts to change. Because instead of letting the game come to him, he starts forcing it. More dribbles, more risks, more frustration, and that frustration began to show. Arguments with opponents, complaints to referees, visible tension on the pitch, but it didn't stop there. It started affecting his relationships inside the team. Then came the moment that said everything. A big game, a big result, and Vinícius gets subbed off. Instead of accepting it, instead of staying with the team, he walks straight down the tunnel. Angry, not at the result, not at the performance, but at being taken off. That's not confidence anymore. That's frustration turning into something bigger. Because the truth is, Vinícius didn't suddenly become a bad player. He became a player without clarity. No defined role, no system built around him, no balance in the team. And when that happens, even the best players in the world start to struggle. At the same time, you still see flashes. Moments where he beats defenders like before, moments where he looks unstoppable again. And for a second, you remember exactly who he is. But then it disappears again. And that inconsistency is what changed everything. Because this isn't just about Vinícius, it's about Real Madrid. A team trying to fit too many superstars into one system without sacrificing anything. And right now, it's not working. Football moves fast. One season, you're the best in the world. The next, you're trying to prove you still belong there. And Vinícius Jr. is stuck in between. Not at the top anymore, but not gone either. Searching for the version of himself that once made the world believe. And until he finds that version again, the question will remain. Not how good he can be, but whether he can ever get back to what he once was.